back to the Music for a Book podcast from the vault. We are your hosts. I'm Britt.
And I'm Hannah.
And we are bringing you our very first long story short episode.
Yes, and in case you missed it, our long story short vault episodes are reading updates where we do rapid fire mini reviews of books we read that we don't cover fully on the pod.
Exactly. So in this vault track, we're talking about a few of our recent reads. We might have some song choices and ratings.
Or maybe not. Long story short, we might just gossip and yap about the book instead. Either way, we're glad you're here.
I am a professional yapper.
Yes,
so.
you are.
We won't be going in depth. Thank you. We won't be going in depth about the plot of these books, just high level overviews. So if you go to pick up one of these books, just don't forget to check your trigger warnings in case you have anything that you're sensitive of and you need to be aware of. So this is our first episode, so we're going to have some fun with it. And we've structured this, if you're familiar, one with Dance Moms or two on TikTok. We're doing our own version of Abby Lee Miller's Pyramid. Mm-hmm. So our first segment is bottom of the pyramid. You were good, waiting for you to be great. Except I took the good out because I don't know if these were actually that good. And these are our least favorite recent reads.
Yes. So I've actually read a lot of good books this year.
Totally.
So I had to go back a ways to find my least favorite read, though. So I feel like that was good. Probably my least favorite read of the year, to be honest. But it was pretty recent too. I read this. Is The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, I know Frida, I take everything with kind of a grain of salt, right, with hers.
Totally.
But, I liked the first Housemaid. I liked the second. This one, I hated Millie's character development. It wasn't there. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
I did not like it. Nope.
It's still on my shelf, but after Hannah read it, I said, maybe we'll leave that on the shelf.
Yeah, just leave it. Read it when the movie comes out and get hyped up for The Housemaid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just don't prioritize it.
Totally. I've had a mixed bag. To be at the time of recording, I've read 130 books in 2024. So I've had some hits and I've had some misses. However, my most recent miss, you guys, if you liked this collection of short stories, I'm so happy for you. But the Under the Mistletoe collection from Amazon was truly heinous. Jail for most of these. I strongly disliked the vast majority of them. Only Santa's in the Building was my favorite out of the bunch. Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey was truly one of the worst things that I've read this year. And I do hate saying that, but it was so short and yet it was so vile. And I hated every second of it. And I only finished it because I wanted to read all 5 in the collection of short stories. And let me just tell you, I liked the mincemeat Wienermobile about 50 times more than I liked Merry Ever After, if that tells you anything. So I have seen some people like them though, so it could have just been me. It is definitely someone's cup of tea. Obviously these are well-established published authors, but it was not for me.
Yeah, and will not be adding to my TBR.
No, I wouldn't recommend, so it's fine.
All right, now we have Middle of the Pyramid. You didn't stick out to me, just fine.
Are just fine mid recent reads.
So my first one was a book that I was really excited for when it was on Book of the Month, and I finally read it. It's Honey by Isabel Banta.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna read it 3 Saturn, so it is in that middle range there. This book is about a pop star, and she's in this girl group and just kind of goes through her life. And so it was really fun to read it and picture our early pop stars, like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and all of them.
Totally.
And so I really enjoyed it. I don't think I would recommend it, go out and read it, but it was a fun, quick read. It was really, really quick. But if I had to pick a song, it'd definitely be Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears or Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Totally.
Just the way the characters developed there. My other one that falls in the middle of the pack, which I saw so many people rate this one 5 stars. Yeah. And it was just kind of mid for me, was The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I think it could have been one of the ones I hyped up a lot. And so when I read it, it just kind of fell flat to my expectations.
I think that happened with the one that I'm going to talk about next. I think that's exactly what happened with me.
I just wasn't as hooked as I thought I would be on this book. I did like the ending. I thought it was, well, I liked one part of the ending. Other part, I think that's where it kind of fell flat for me. Just kind of mid.
Yeah. Do you have a song for it?
Oh, yeah, I do. I picked 7 by Taylor Swift.
Love that song. So I have 2 mid-reads as well. My first one, I don't want to say it because I feel like it's going to upset people. My first one was Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I gave it 3.5 moons. I think that without the audiobook, I would have either DNF'd it or rated it like a 2.5 to a 3, if I'm being totally honest. I just found like I didn't love Kingfisher. I thought he was super cringy. I thought this was a far cry from Enemies to Lovers. However, it had been marketed. It didn't hook me in the way that I wanted to. I was really into it, but there is like a really info dumpy part. If you've read it, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And like, I'll probably read book 2 because I am intrigued enough. Also, Carrie and Swift saved the entire book for me. All hail Carrie and Swift. If you know, you know. But yeah, I think this suffered from me going in with super, super high expectations. But I will say this is a book, though, that people are sitting down and saying this is their brand new holy grail fantasy. It lives up to ACOTAR. It lives up to the hype. It lives up to the Fourth Wing vibes. It lives up to this. And I am down for a good time. I love to have a good time with a book. A book doesn't necessarily have to be a masterpiece to be good or enjoyed, as long as it entertained me. That's what matters. There was something about it that I was just like, I get why people like it. It felt like it was multiple books in one for me. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I'll just wait for the adaptation.
Yeah. I think it's just like the parts that I wanted more of. So it's called the Fae and Alchemy series. Obviously, there's like alchemy to it. And the parts that I wanted more of, I definitely did not have. And I understand that this is book 1 in a series, so I'm not worried about like questions not being answered. Like, that's what confuses me, is when I see people reviewing the first book in a series and they're like, well, I have so many questions, and it's like a book 1 of 5. Like, babes, those questions are probably going to be answered if we just like let the author unveil their secrets. But I do still need to be like hooked in some way. But the song that I chose for this was Make Yourself by Incubus. Very much enjoyed my little Incubus nod there. And the next one hurts me the most. This one hurts me the most. This was The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. And if y'all know, you know Abby Jimenez is an auto-buy author for us, one of our favorite authors of all time, I can confidently say. So we are trying to read her like backlog and read those first 3 books that she wrote. And I gave this 3.5 moons. The only reason it picked up a half moon was because of the ending, like the back half of the book in the author's note. Otherwise, it would have been a solid 3. And this book was just one big, giant miscommunication. And like, I don't know if I've ever been more frustrated with an FMC than I was Kristen. And this book is about a woman who's struggling with her like reproductive health. There are issues where she's looking to get a hysterectomy very young, and there's also this mild love triangle that goes on. It teeters on cheating, and I don't know, like I liked a lot of parts of it because it is Abby's writing still, and I did connect a lot with it, but it definitely disappointed me. However, the song that I picked for it was I Love You, I'm Sorry by Gracie Abrams, and I feel like it's a really good fit for that book.
Yeah, I'm like 50% of the way in for this book, but I think it's going to be about the same for me. But
yeah,
I like that song choice. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's one of those. I absolutely will read the Happy Ever After playlist, and the third book is escaping me right now, but I'll definitely read the other 2. It was my least favorite Abby book that I've read so far.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're moving into the best part of our long story short, which is we're going 3 for 3, first on the pyramid, first overall, our favorite recent reads.
Yes. And I'm so excited for this first one. Yes. 4.5 Saturns for me, and it's Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And I did do a mini review on our Booksta on Starlit for this, and picked my song, which is End of Beginning by Joe. I don't know, I love sci-fi, so it was a lot of fun for me, this one.
Yeah.
I think I liked it better. We read Recursion early last year on the pod, and I really liked that one. And this one I liked even more.
I love that.
It was a wild ride. Like multiverse, like I don't know like kind of what's out there about the books. I like don't want to spoil anything for you because I want you to read it and I don't want to spoil everything. But like
Dark Matter is on my shelf over here next to the Wayward Pines trilogy. I promise that is like priority TBR for 2025.
yeah, it was fun and it was done in a cool way, like the timelines and parallel universes and
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
I love that.
Then another one I just finished.
Finally.
I know. Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig and also 4.5 Saturns. Your pretty versions.
My pretty versions.
This duology is just everything. The Shepherd King duology. I did struggle with like the first part of the first book, but as soon as shit went down in that first book, and like the second book just like carries it through. Like it's nonstop.
Yes.
The magic system, just the loopholes with like what they're saying in the riddles. And one of my favorite things is like I talked about this on the pod too earlier, is when they curse, they're like trees. Like that's their curse word. And so I just think it's hilarious. But definitely a fun must read for fantasy lovers.
Love that. I have well, I have 4, but 2 are together and another 2 are to 5. It's fine. Everything's fine, guys. First thing is I reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame to prepare for Onyx Storm, and I did it on graphic audio. 10 out of 10 recommend. I gave Iron Flame 4 stars originally, Fourth Wing 5. I gave both of them 5 on a reread. The things that people hated about Iron Flame the first time around were things that I didn't mind on a reread after like really like thinking about everything. Definitely enjoyed that. But my other books that I wanted to talk about. So 2 very shocking books on here for me are 2 holiday romances, which like that is shocking information, y'all. So I read The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart, and then I saw that she surprise dropped The Slight. I know it's supposed to be like slay, like the slate before Christmas, but The Slight Before Christmas. 5 moons on both of those bad boys for me. These were so unexpected, so fun. I am, first of all, a super tough sell with holiday books in general because I do tend to be a little bit of a Grinch and Scrooge around that time. And also, the first book specifically was a second chance romance, which is one of my like I tread carefully with second chance romances because I don't always find them believable. I think it's a really hard trope to do well. These had some of the best family dynamics I've ever read. The second book was about Thatcher and Serena. So the first book is about Eli and Whitney, and that's their second chance romance. They both take place during the holidays at their family cabin, the Collins family cabin. I've never read family dynamics this good. I've never read like dynamics that felt like I was in a living room with the family while they were having an argument. And like everything was real and raw. Hilarious. Book 2, so hot. And like the way that it was about like a husband and wife realizing that their children were assholes and they need to figure out like how to come together to course correct their children before they like turn into actual demonic monsters. And I love that it wasn't about them falling out of love with each other, but rediscovering their love for each other. Like it never left. It was just like reigniting it. So good. My plight song is Back to December by Taylor Swift. And my slight song is Bones by Maren Morris.
Ooh.
And that is, if you read The Slight Before Christmas and you haven't listened to Bones by Maren Morris, please go listen to it because that is Serena and Thatch's song. 100%. And my last favorite recent read here is Yes, No, Maybe by Jessica Sherry, 5 Moons. Absolutely love this book. I probably would have never known about it without Book Talk because one of our friends on Book Talk, Kat, she has like the best recommendations. And also one of my favorite authors, Tara DeWitt, I saw both of them raving about this book. I saw Tara's on Goodreads and Kat on Book Talk for good reason. This was like so angsty and raw and real. There's a hilarious depiction of love and loss and found family. This follows Rowan and Jack, and Rowan is a school teacher. Jack is a broody, best-selling author who lives next door to the house that Rowan moves into. And the whole thing kicks off because when her fiance publicly proposes to her, which is not what she wanted because she is a burn victim and she has a lot of stuff going on with that, her response is yes, no, maybe. publicly in front of the whole school, like, or during their like play. So basically the whole school. It was a full auditorium. And you know, the fallout there, I will say this one does teeter the line a little bit on maybe like cheating, but I think it's done in a way that makes sense to the story, and I understood the motivations and the actions behind it. It wasn't like a out of spite sort of thing, and I normally don't like stuff like that, but I'm telling you guys, this was really good. And my song is Guilty as Sin by Taylor Swift.
I mean, picking that song for that book is just, you'd have to read it. I have to read it.
You have to read it. It's so good. It's on Kindle Unlimited. She's an indie author. I would highly recommend picking it up. If you don't like emotional books, I would stay away. If you want feel good straight through, this is not the book for you. However, if you do love getting your heart ripped out but then putting it back together again, this is definitely going to be the one.
We love that.
Yes.
I think we do mention it though.
We do mention it. We have to. So the Rebel Blue Range series, guys. The Rebel Blue Range series. Lost in Lasso just came out.
Yes.
And Hannah is so particular about her books. If you've listened to the podcast, you would know consistently every time I rate the books higher and Hannah rates them lower, except recently. We've had two recent incidents where I rated lower than you, which is very rare. So when I told her to read this cute, silly little cowboy romance, I was like, she's either going to really like it or she's going to be like, Britt, this was terrible.
Oops. That's why my like Goodreads goal can't be higher than 50, because like I just know what I like to read.
Yeah, totally.
I can't read anyway. But no, The Rebel Blue Ranch is great. Swift and Saddled is one of my top books of all time.
I love Swift and Saddled. Like Wes and Ada just do not get enough love in my opinion. I
was
just
so
love
happy
them.
and Lost and Lassoed for Teddy and Gus.
I know Gus Ryder, the man that you are, let me tell you, and just Amos Ryder, the whole family. I'm so excited for Cam and Dusty's story coming out, but like we just had to throw that in there because that was a recent, very top tier read for us in Lost and Lassoed, and I was like, we just mentioned the whole series.
Yeah. I love it.
So that was our little pyramid on our long story short with all of our recent reads. So thank you all so much for listening and tuning into our new episode format. Please let us know how you liked this episode format. If you vibed with this, we're, hoping to change themes and keep this a little fun and fresh. We're excited to have these. I feel like it's nice to just yap about books.
It really is. So please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, YouTube, anywhere that you get podcasts as well. Be sure to rate and review us. We would love to hear your feedback. You can also leave comments on Spotify episodes now. So
yes,
leave us a comment of your favorite dance. Since we did dance moms. Yeah, since we did dance moms.
Oh, like a genre?
Like salsa, ballroom,
totally.
Tap dancing, disco.
Yeah. Love. I mean, I was just So You Think You Can Dance girly. So
there
I give me a lyrical choreographed by Travis Wall.
Yeah.
Contemporary. Choreographed by Travis Wall, Mandy Moore. Hand it over to me.
Yep. And please also give us your thoughts on book recs on social.
Yeah, we need some book recs, especially because one of our Yappy episodes is called Look What You Made Me Read, and we want to read books recommended by you. And yes. I've already had so many unhinged book recommendations by friends, and I'm talking unhinged. So give us some real ones. We should probably read a couple of the funny, short unhinged novellas just for shits and giggles too. But yeah, we will see you next week where we review All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker, which I'm sure is going to be a much more in-depth and much more serious episode.
Yeah.
And that'll be
a lot more serious.
Wednesday, January 22nd.
Yep. And until then and forever, keep reading with kindness.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.